Welcome in, you beautiful mother fathers. Another episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Streaming too on the audio for you fucking sycophants who love listening to us talk and not seeing our beautiful sunshiny faces. I'm Kyle Cornell. That's with boy Anthony Alford. What's going on, buddy?
I'm good. I mean, not really, but I'm good. I mean, wrestling-wise, I'm great.
I didn't ask how you were doing. I asked what's going on.
As a human being, I'm doing great. As a sports fan, I'm doing awful.
God, you ever just have like a vision of where you want things to go and someone's like, nah, fuck, just bull roast.
I'm doing fine, all right? I answered your question.
I didn't ask how you were doing. I said, what's going on?
Life.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
We should, honestly, you know what? Hear me out. Team meeting for a second podcast.
Yes.
We do one line, and that's the fucking podcast. You cannot fucking tell me anyone's doing that.
Hey, listen.
You probably should put the background back too.
Listen. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Listen. A podcast 75 seconds long.
No. I'm talking like I say one line, you say one line. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. That's it.
We're done.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. Anything else?
you just air recorded one of our probably a lot of people's childhood heroes, but that's fine. That's all good. Pete has no idea what we're talking about, but we'll explain that in a second.
Honestly, I don't think we need to. I think that went straight to the point.
Did he count to 4? I thought he counted to 4.
I thought
people said 3, but then I saw him do this.
I saw 3 and then this.
Okay.
But did he do? But
I thought he went like this and then
this
he did.
and then this.
I think maybe that was like to try and confuse people because there's 4 members of the new bloodline. There's 3 members in the ring. There's 3 people in the ring.
I heard other theories too.
Oh God, what'd you hear?
Well, the theory our sweet moment of the week is brought to you by BA Sweeties. Check this out. So this is what's the sweet moment is the return of Jimmy Uso.
What a fucking return, by the way.
Great return. We'll talk about that in a second. But the question in hand at this moment, The Rock returning, I only caught 3. So the rumor has it that the 3 means a triple threat main event at WrestleMania. I'm not going to try to sell you on the idea because I'm not really a fan of the idea, to be perfectly honest. Rock, Roman, Cody in a triple threat at WrestleMania. Not a fan, but that's the hot rumor that's what that 3 means.
I don't know about that. I think it's more likely that he's talking to Cody, Roman, and who was the other person in the ring at that point? Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, sorry, Jimmy, right there. Those guys being
already
done.
Forgot an Uso by Kyle Cornell. Already.
I don't forget the other one. But no, like this overall, both returns fantastic.
It was great.
Jimmy's return was he's found something, and we talked about this before. Like kind of, he was like, okay, it's Jay. He's the Intercontinental Champion. He's the star. He's all that stuff. Jimmy's been able to be what's the term a lot of sports guys use, a star in your role. Like, what's your role? What you're the supporting cast guy, right? You're the guy that you're the tight end who blocks, and you get like 5 catches a game because you're just happen to be in space. You may only get 25 yards, but we need that.
He's an excellent role player.
But you're getting that first down.
He's a role player. He's he's in the starting lineup, but you can easily say he's a 6 man.
He's butting the guy in the scoring position.
Correct.
That's what he's doing.
Setup man. Yes.
He's the
We're
guy.
in baseball season. Setup man.
He's pitching the 8th inning. He's getting you the 9th, like that kind of thing. He's a good setup guy, and that's what Jimmy is, and he plays that role fantastic. Like being Roman's sidekick. Like, he plays that role to a T, even to the point where Roman was shocked he was around. Like, that was great.
Yeah, I watching that match in full and seeing it all laid out. What do you expect from a Bloodline match? Wonderfully, phenomenally booked. Everything, storyline purpose, it all played itself out. And really to see Jimmy come out, and not just him come out and do his thing with Solo and whatnot, but he's looking at Roman Reigns and saying, you made a promise. You made a promise to Cody. So how about the confident Roman or the confident Jey Uso coming in there, inspiring? And I thought, honestly, what made the segment, too, I thought the commentary was fantastic, just really resetting the storyline. Not just in the old days, Jimmy Uso would have came back, oh, they're all buddy and everything is great. No, I love how the commentary basically established, hey, Jimmy did not leave on good terms, even with Roman. He did not leave on good terms. They were butted heads for a while during the downfall of the Bloodline, but he has seen what's been going on over these last 6 months. It's not like he's been in the dark now watching television. He's seen what's going on these last 6 months.
He got took out by the other guys.
Yeah, so I loved how the commentary, Kyle, just really laid out. They refreshed the background story and didn't just hide it. I really loved that. I thought they did a great job with that. And honestly, if the show would have just ended with that, right? They had the Cody beatdown and Jimmy and Roman made the save. If that was the end of the show would have been great. It would have been a great main event. I know we would have, we propped up The Rock, and then we also said Brock Lesnar at B.A. Sweeties was going to come back. Brock obviously didn't come back. But would you have been disappointed if The Rock didn't come back to this show? If you didn't know that he was already in Georgia like the day before.
I think I'd be more disappointed and I still could be disappointed if he came back for this and then doesn't show up again for until January.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Gotcha.
So what? He's gonna pop out for 2 seconds, put 3 up in the air, do this, and then leave for 3 months. That doesn't make any sense to me. This feels like a setup for SummerSlam, or not for SummerSlam, for Survivor Series rather.
Right.
If he's doing that 3, that could honestly mean that maybe he's joining the new Bloodline in a Survivor Series, either a traditional 5-on-5 match or possibly War Games.
Well, the War Games, right?
Well, War Games is 4-on-4 sometimes now,
right.
too, so I don't know.
You know what, though? Let me go back to what you said at the top then. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's 4 members of the new Bloodline. Is he talking about them instead? And he's going to team with a crazy team possibly of Roman, Jimmy, Cody, and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously inner dissension. The new Bloodline probably should win that match because then obviously it teases who's going to be in for the title, that kind of thing.
So there were other components, too, of the story that played out outside of the show, which we'll actually have to get to. Short timeout for a second team meeting here. Pete, I forgot to mention before the show the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens video. It's on my Twitter. Let me know if you can find that. It's on there.
Pete's like, fuck, I have to work?
No. Pete's like, yeah. Pete's like, how come you didn't discuss this before the show?
Turn on the camera and fucking, I walk out of the room. God, fucking assholes making me do shit.
But there was a few things, right? So The Rock actually cut a promo on his social media after this.
A walking promo.
Which was sweet. It was The Rock doing the best he could do. 5 minutes of just straight charisma and 5 minutes of saying absolutely nothing.
Exactly. The Rock's mad. The Rock is walking away. The Rock, hey, you like The Rock, right? Yeah, that's right, buddy. Anyway, The Rock was saying. That's like, dude.
Final boss. I love the dream. Hate the sun. I love that. Also, Solo caught on camera when The Rock came back. All part of the plan. So all of a sudden, and you mentioned this, Kyle, when we were at B.A. Sweeties, if you can watch the show and be entertained and be ingrained in storylines and whatnot, but they're forcing you to pay attention to everything. If you really want to get a true understanding of what's happening with the stories and why it's happening.
It's a new layer of storytelling in WWE. I hope he shows up Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's capitalize on this. I know this crown jewel thing is coming up, and Cody's going to be busy with Gunther, I believe. But
he might be busy with somebody else, too, which we'll talk about that in a sec.
But, I mean, I like it. I still think there's a bigger turn with Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going to talk about that in a second. The whole thing was interesting, to say the least. But, if they don't capitalize on this and have him on a show this week or next week or something like that, what are we doing?
Yeah,
we know The Rock's still alive. I don't need to see him on TV unless he's going to be doing something.
Right.
This is not You don't need to do that.
And every time The Rock shows up on television, he's going to deliver like a 20-minute social media promo afterwards. Like, it's going to take up like half of Raw if they would put it on television.
The Rock's going to take you with him while he walks back to his Mercedes. Walking by security. Security, you love The Rock? Yeah, you love The Rock. Yeah, give me some. All right. Yeah, anyway, final boss.
Music just magically plays. Music just magically stops. If you smell what The Rock, boom, boom, is cooking. Done. I was like, what are we doing? Let's cap this segment here. There's more I want to discuss out of this coming up in a little bit. But this is our sweet moment of the week, brought to you by BA Sweeties. The return of Jimmy Uso and the return of The Rock. We will at least hear from Jimmy Uso, I would assume, on Friday.
Roman and Jimmy are supposed to have a segment.
Yep.
Roman, I guess, is a full-time performer again, so that's fun.
How about that?
Well, I imagine because you're the babyface now, you probably have to show up a little more. But
yeah. I thought the entire presentation of the main event, we could spend the entire podcast on the presentation of the main event because I thought that was peak Triple H WWE as far as presentation.
Yeah, who the fuck had Cody having a longer entrance than Roman? I didn't.
How about that?
That wasn't on my bingo card. I don't know about you guys, but that was...
That was not on the crossword puzzle. Man.
9 down, 3 across was not that fucking answer.
Before we get to our BA Sweeties commercial, we got some things that Tom from BA Sweeties gave us.
What's this? You'll find out later.
Pete, do we have that?
What's that sound?
Clip? Let's play this. Let's set it up here. This is technically we have to say it's courtesy from WWE, but to be perfectly honest, it's courtesy of a fan who happened to catch Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens backstage. This did not air on the pay-per-view. This happened on social media, uploaded. Let's take a look.
Okay, they were live, brother.
Something, dark side, something. Hey, buddy, something. Don't touch me, bitch. Something. My title's on the ground. Listen, I'm trying to defuse the situation, but you're trying to make an animal out of me, man.
That was like Titus O'Neil.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Kevin, no!
Kicked the shit out of... He actually punched him one time in the face.
He did. That's what happens when you knock somebody out in front of a
Do that.
Was that his bus?
Yeah, this is Bus.
Man.
Kevin!
I think their first match will take place inside the bus.
Will be their second match at this point, yeah.
Courtesy of WWE.
Even though it's not WWE, WWE had no cameras there at all. They basically, I don't know if they planted social media people there or if it's actual fans that just took the video on their phone. But the point of this was to make it go viral and to film, to do something to where people were just going to see it, they'd share it, and eventually WWE would have to address it. It's a new kind of way of implementing this, and by some of the quality on some of these videos, you can probably tell maybe a couple of these fans were planted. So, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's suspending your imagination, right? And then kind of living in the moment. But still.
Again, Kyle, presentation, right? So Triple H comes out with a statement, acting as if this was not a part of the television show.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, Wade Barrett was going to talk about it on commentary, and Joe Tessitore is like, we can't get into that. We're not allowed to.
Sami Zayn was backstage, was going to talk about it.
Can't.
Well, Sammy's like, hey, if you ever want to. Cody's like, I don't want to. It's like,
I mean, that's a huge, to the point where if anybody brings this up, you're going to be fined or suspended or something.
All because Randy Orton never told Kevin Owens that he told Cody to be there. Tell you what, Randy's, dude, it's another layer. They're finding a new way because you always wonder, okay, Randy's been healed so many times. He's been a bad guy. How can we make this different?
Yeah.
If we're going to turn him because he's so over.
Man.
If we're going to turn him, how do we make it count?
Man. We got more on this coming up in Rapid Fire later on in the show. Let's talk about BA Sweeties, of course. And we were there on Saturday. Thank you, everybody, for showing up at BA Sweeties. A phenomenal crowd.
Wait a minute. There's green in this, and it's picking up. That's kind of cool. Well, not really. No, I can see it.
Let's show some real proof. Go to Kyle's one shot and see if it actually shows up.
Wait.
It kind of.
It's blue.
A little. It's blue, but
Junior
you
Mints.
see
You know
the
it's
letters.
blue. You can see this, though. This is the candy you can get. Whole big bag, minus the green stuff that's blue. Yeah, you can see the Junior Mints that are now translucent, but it's Halloween season, people. Honestly, we had such a great time with Tom up there at BA Sweetie this past weekend for Bad Blood, a special live presentation. Of course, last week's episode, too, after you're done watching this one, make sure you watch that back. Had Mike from State Farm on the show. That was fantastic. Sponsor appreciation week essentially last week. But no, it's the perfect time, man. We know that, again, Golfland's closing up this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's the
13th.
last chance, this Sunday, the 13th, to go out and play putt-putt, to enjoy that. The crown jewel, as Tom called it, again, of B.A. Sweetie. Also, again, just unbelievable Halloween candy. We got a whole pack here. I've been chewing on some before the show. I think I had Charleston chew in there, too. I haven't seen that in forever. So that was kind of cool. But
we got some things we got to show you on the other side here.
Yeah.
Too, that they have in this Halloween season. But I'll tell you, it's fantastic just being there. It smells like candy. If for nothing else, you need to go somewhere where it smells like candy when you walk through the door.
I know I'm getting double A for his birthday. Candles. Smells like cinnamon. Cinnamon candy.
Tastes like candy. Sorry, that's a different song. We actually could not repeat half of those lyrics on that song. I was trying to look for like candy songs.
You're a reckless son of a bitch.
I was trying to look for some candy songs.
He's an outlaw, folks.
Half of them are inappropriate. We can't use it, even though they're great. 50 Cent. There's some others.
Speaking of grape, I'm just going to have more of this.
And while he consumes that, here's how you can pick up this and other tasty treats and candies at the place with the giant lollipop known as B.A. Sweeties.
Peter Pass for Prez. Again, 180,000 different kinds of candy bars there. It's unbelievable, guys. Make sure you stop by B.A. Sweetie. Double A, you can work your way back into the shot. So we're talking about sodas today, too. Awesome. Of course, I have the Elect Peter Pez for Prez grape soda. This is awesome. They also sell the candy bars, too. We know it's election season. We had a fine gentleman drop off 3 Trump bars. I actually ate 2 of them. So that was fantastic. You can obviously, if you're a Democrat, you can get Harris. If you're a Republican, you can get Trump. Or if you just don't want to vote and you hate your life right now, you can get Peter Prez. And that's what a lot of people have decided to get.
So let me turn them over. There they are.
They're in sodas, too. One shot on Double A for that. You can see one is a little higher, buddy. There you go. I know you're short, but you can pick it up. There you go. So there's Kamala.
Hurting.
There's Kamala in the blue. Go figure. It's almost like she's a Democrat. And then there's Trump in the red, because he's a Republican. Now, you can't actually buy a donkey or an elephant. B.A. Sweetie is working on that, maybe in gummy bear form for possibly for the next election, but not this one. So, but they do have a 5-pound gummy bear now.
Yes, they do.
That's legit.
Yes,
and
they do.
My God, over 3,000 calories. Yeah.
So, I will say, all joking aside, the chocolate bars that you can get that has the presidential candidates, they're actually really, really, really good.
Oh, did you have one too?
Yeah, they're.
Which one did you eat?
Oh, I gotta tell you. So.
Yeah.
I ate the Kamala one. I ate the Kamala candy bar. Here's
socialist.
So, listen. So, as a gift, I gave.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
I have to. And Pete, you'll love this story too. So, as a gift, I brought home, the chocolate bars, and I forgot to pack the Peter Pan one. So I brought home
the Peter Pan one. Peter Pan is like, dude, fuck you, bro.
Forgot to bring it. So
the Peter Pan one. Okay, Wendy.
I turned to Rebecca. I have a gift for you. I threw her over the chocolate bars. I tossed it to her.
I whipped it at her face.
And
just beamed
her. I knew which one I gave to her. She was like, oh, thanks. She took one good look at it.
What the fuck?
And threw that thing right back in my face.
It's honestly.
Mind you, this is like the 3rd inning of like game 1 of the Guardians game, Like, we're up 5-0. Everything is great. And she threw that thing right back in my face. She was like, I thought
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
She was like, I thought you knew me. She went all edge on me. She's like, I thought you knew me.
Dude, you can copyright fucking music today. I swear to God.
And
Metalingus is gonna.
and so yeah, we probably won't even be able to post the show today. Boy, we're gonna be taking that on YouTube before Facebook this week. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's a record.
Boy, that's gonna be a record, man. I'm gonna smile as my status on Facebook and will get copyrighted. Anywho,
It's true.
and then so I gave her the Trump one, and as I gave her the Trump one,
And she ate it in one bite.
I don't even think that. Yeah, she opened it. Yeah, I ate the Kamala, and
Listen, guys, I ate the Kamala. Sorry. I had to do it. I had to eat the Kamala. So
listen,
good, so yummy.
don't listen. I know it's 2024, and people are like, "Oh, it ain't safe to talk politics and stuff and talk anything you want." My goodness, your adults. It's okay.
Have a junior mint and grow the fuck up.
My goodness, you get consumed. Matter of fact, nah, I'm good.
For half a second, they almost had him.
Nah, I'm good.
You almost made the percentage go up by one more.
Go to BA Sweeties. They have, go to BA Sweeties. They have everything you need, everything you like, everything you want, everything. They have it. It's fun. All kidding aside, it is fun, right? It is fun just to have that discussion, have that conversation, just to see it because the way Tom, had it stocked up too. It's like you just said it, but Trump on the left,
The right.
um.
Trump's on the right.
No.
Kamala's on the left.
I'm trying to point at it from the camera view.
Oh, who gives a fuck? On your right, you'll see Trump. On your left, you'll see Harris. In the middle, you'll see Peter Pez because we always need a third candidate, and ours dropped out. So
Yeah. RFK could have had one.
you could have had a bar.
Could have had a candy
Could
bar.
have had a chocolate bar. What the fuck, Jake? Anyway,
What are you doing, Jake? You
I
messed
was
out.
busy.
He could have been on this bottle.
The red one? I don't want the purple one.
Purple.
Peter Pez gets election off. He's the VP nominee.
Interstate 480 Ridge Road exit. Make a left on Brook Park Road, and you'll see the giant lollipop pull right in. And like Kyle mentioned, go this weekend, the final weekend of the putt-putt. 36 holes that you can check out. 2 full courses. So get it in this weekend.
It's still 70 degrees. Take advantage of it because we know it's Northeast Ohio, and that shit going to change quick.
It does.
Like so fast.
All right, we got a lot of wrestling stuff to cover. Can I have 3 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. I'm going to do this.
I'm glad you made the first one there.
Proceed.
Okay. I just need 3 minutes. And you can count me down. All right, I'm at 254. So
That was a quick 6 seconds. Bro.
listen. I know we do a professional wrestling podcast, and we try to remain as professional as possible about pro wrestling, and we'll get back to it. But the Browns are pissing me off. Not just pissing me off, but are pissing you off too. Most of this audience is from Cleveland, they're pissing you off. Okay? And it starts probably with that guy right there, right?
Why does his head look like a football helmet?
It might as well be a football throwing a football. I don't know what kind of targets he might be hitting or whatnot, but obviously this was the worst case scenario. You saw the two shot. You saw the full graphic here about what the Browns gave up, and for them to be in such crap position is just absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing is probably not even the right word. Quite honestly, you're 6 feet under. You're 6 feet under.
6 feet under.
And the worst thing about it is that no matter what you decide to do, it will be the wrong decision, no matter what. So you have two options, because the third one they'll probably do, and then they'll really be stuck. You have two options.
This will be good.
you can either cut Deshaun Watson, okay, bench, which means cut him, and then you pay him $176 million to a player who's not there on the roster, and that's that. Or you fire Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry today, and you ride out Deshaun Watson, which is probably what ownership is going to do. Because you paid him $176 million of Dr. Evil's money. Evil! 176 for a guy who pissed me off while I was riding rides at Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. I have to see scoring updates for this dude who can't even complete a pass to anybody named Tom Seager while I'm riding rides and waiting on the train
I was gonna say
at Cedar Point.
is that free falling reference, but that's Tom Petty. Never mind. Proceed.
Unreal. Great songs, by the way. It's great.
'Cause I'm free.
Deshaun Watson, his play belongs at one of the 100 houses that Rebecca and I partook in this past Sunday at Cedar Point. His accuracy, you know you're not allowed to touch people at Cedar Point while, in the 100 houses.
I found out the hard way when I was a freshman in college. You know that story, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not allowed to touch people, right? Guess what? That's the perfect place for Deshaun to work at. Because there, he can't touch his targets.
Who are his targets? Depends on who you ask. Oh, giggity.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! He sucks! He sucks! And guess what? You got to sit there and you got to watch that every single Sunday. You got to sit there and chew it up. I don't know who's worse, Jimmy Haslam or Tony Khan. I don't know.
Okay.
Who's worse?
Okay.
I don't. At least, hey, similarities.
You know
they
what?
both spend money.
Can I throw 2 cents in, even though we're a wrestling podcast?
Sure.
The amount of franchise-making quarterbacks in the league, like real guys that, yes, he will take us to win a Super Bowl. 3, 4, maybe 5.
Very true.
Teams strike out and pay money to these guys 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. Deshaun Watson's contract, though fully guaranteed, which was different at the time, right now I think when it comes to just pure cap money, as his contract states, is like the 11th or 12th highest paid quarterback after everyone got their new deals recently.
Right. And Dak Prescott, I think,
Yes.
is the highest paid right now.
Yes. So, listen, teams do this. The problem is, obviously, he's a PR nightmare.
Well, and remember,
I don't think he's just a bad quarterback.
Well, remember the Broncos. We saw a very recent example. The Denver Broncos paid off Russell Wilson basically to go away.
And Russell Wilson, no problems, great guy for all we know, a man of God. He's, this great dude, right? He won a Super Bowl.
He did. Should have won too.
I mean, this shit happens.
Yeah.
Teams make wrong decisions.
Yeah.
It's not the end. It's not the end of the world. This roster is still built to win. They have to figure some shit on the O-line. It used to be a strength, and you can't tell me. I know Bill Callahan's a good coach, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think it's
offensive line coach. Yeah.
But to go from a top 5 unit to the worst in the league doesn't make any sense. What does make sense is that Deshaun Watson never actually fit into what Kevin Stefanski wants as a quarterback, and he's tried to mold. He's tried to incorporate the guy who was Josh Allen's offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because Josh Allen holds on to the ball a little bit, and he likes to run, and he thinks, okay, if I can try and get him here, incorporate that, because I'm stuck with them. I had seen reports that Stefanski wasn't necessarily all in on Deshaun. I saw things where it was like, I don't want Baker, I don't want Deshaun.
Right.
I want my own guy. I want to draft somebody. I want to let me sign someone.
The original plan, and I promise we'll make this quick, get back to professional wrestling. The original plan, they were in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. If they didn't have to dish out 5 years, $230 million, if it was a reasonable price, cool, we got him. But if not, the original plan was to get like a Matt Ryan, who was going to be there for a year or two, be that bridge quarterback, and then, like you said, Kyle, Stefanski would get, and Andrew Berry would get their guy, their quarterback, to run their system.
And Baker would not be doing better in Cleveland now He'd be the same or worse, and he'd be hurt
Yeah.
because he has the same tendencies too. He went to a team that was the perfect fit.
Baker's story would actually still play out the same way that it is today.
Yeah.
The exact same way.
He still had to go to 2 other teams before he finally found Tampa Bay. And again, that team has 2 potential Hall of Fame wide receivers. They've got a top 5 offensive line with Tristan Wirfs, who may be the best left tackle in football right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've got one of the better defenses in football, too. I mean, everything just worked. They're in a softer division. The NFC South hasn't been that good the past couple of seasons. So it just kind of lined up. The team was already built to win. They just won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago with Tom Brady. They have a good roster. So he wasn't getting that here. And that's what it was. And there was never going to be, that was not the combination. And with Deshaun, I mean, I would not be surprised if he gets cut, if he gets traded and they eat most of his contract, whatever it is, and he goes maybe the next team or the team after and finds himself again. But there's no confidence. It's all fake. It's all, there's no, he doesn't have, I watched a guy break down a clip.
Are you saying it's all fake on this show for what we cover on today? I'm kidding.
Wrestling's not fake.
No.
It's predetermined. But no, like this, it's all a facade. The confidence as a quarterback. I watched a guy break down a clip of Deshaun Watson. I didn't share it on Facebook because I'm debating deleting it again, but I just don't see the need for it anymore. But nevertheless, it's for kind of shit like this too. People bitch about their problems, but like it's one play where he had 5 open receivers.
Right.
The guy literally said, you could not make a wrong choice throwing this football to any of them.
Mm.
He ran out of bounds for 3 yards and they had
Right.
protection.
Right.
It's like there's no mental confidence unless you're wide fucking open and you're the first option. Like, he's not throwing the football.
So, real quick, I'm going to take emotion out of this. Here's what I think the owners are going to do. I think Stefanski and Barry are going to be gone.
That's so dumb.
This is what I'm not saying this is what should happen. I'm saying what I think the owners are going to do.
Well, someone's head's got to roll for it, but it shouldn't be Stefanski. It should be Barry should go then if that's what's going to happen.
First of all, if I really want to go football one-on-one, if we were on Voice of the Land, I would say that I'm way more confident in Kevin Stefanski's abilities than Andrew Barry's draft picks, his draft picking history. But whatever, that's another thing.
If you're an offensive player, if you're a defensive player, you're doing pretty well.
Exactly, right. But don't look at the receiving core.
No.
But I'll just say this real quick. When you invest this much money, and this is only year 3 of this, you still got 2 more years. I think the ownership is going to look and see, well, wait a minute. The Raiders game, Deshaun looked okay. There's signs. There's a little bit of hope there. There's a little something there. And if he's in the right system, they're going to go allocate all these resources for Deshaun. And I also think at the same time, one of your star players, they might work out a trade. Amari Cooper, I think, will be traded.
He's rattled too.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with. They're just.
Well,
I don't know if it's just not playing for Watson, if they just don't care. I mean, I don't know.
They wanted Brandon Ayuk, and then they made all hey, these players listen to social media. They watch.
Well, but also
everything.
like Elijah Moore was running that too. So I mean, which he's been non-existent the first 5-6 weeks, whatever it's been. So I don't know. I mean, listen, if you're a Browns fan, my dad got so pissed he didn't call me on Sunday because he was like, I can't even. Dude, he's like, I'm so mad, I'm so upset. I'm like, I stopped letting teams affect my mental health a while ago.
Well,
just because
I wish I was the same, man. Because of how bad they're playing, it's affecting my enjoyment of the Guardians postseason.
Well,
and now the Guardians postseason,
what's left of it?
They can't. Yeah, what's left of it because they can't score runs. Honestly, they scored most of their runs while we were on the air at BA Sweeties.
Yeah, they blew a load early.
They did, and it's ridiculous. So that's
off
it.
your fiance.
Hey, 6 months from now, we'll talk pro sports again. This was courtesy of ESPN. But back to your regularly scheduled programming with wrestling.
That was fun.
This is some good shit.
That's some good shit, brother.
So how about, first off, what did you think of, we can talk we do not review matches on this show, okay? If you're a new viewer, just know we do not review matches. So we just don't. We review stories. With that being said, The Hell in a Cell match, unreal. Fantastic. So, fast forward over to Monday. What did you think, first off, of what CM Punk had to say to open the show?
I think he's hurt a little bit. Probably a little banged up just because it's a lot of bumps, a lot of crazy shit for like his second match back on TV, which is just wild. Yeah, Hell in a Cell. That's cool. Like, I mean, I get it. The feud needed it, but at the same point, don't do it again. Like, you need to be done with that kind of shit. Regular matches are fine, which is good. And I mean, this gives him a chance to go home, and now Seth gets to kind of carry it for a little bit. And they'll probably reconvene in the new year on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is a chance for Punk to go home and enjoy the holidays, pass out candy to kids on Halloween. They can show him a scary-ass looking dog. And then he's all set. I mean, it looks...
He does have a scary-looking dog.
I mean,
Larry, I'm sorry.
So ugly, it's cute. Yeah, that's what you say.
Sorry,
but
Larry.
I'm not sorry. I know what I said. but I mean, yeah, Seth now gets to come back. He'll have his feud with Bronson Reed. That's going to take probably a few months to wrap up. I imagine maybe like Saturday night's main event is where they wrap that up.
Yeah.
I would think somewhere around
yeah.
that time frame maybe. And then they're basically saying the first Raw on Netflix, they're trying to make it like a PLE.
And it will be.
Yeah. So I imagine both of these men will be in attendance.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where it's at. I don't know if it's announced yet.
It's not official yet, but it will probably, I believe, Los Angeles.
Oh shit! Okay.
The Clippers, new home.
The Intuit Dome or whatever it is. Yeah.
Clippers.
So there you go. So that's where that goes. I mean, we know what's there. They have to remind us now. That's the thing. Little brush here. It's kind of like when Cody and Roman crossed paths when Cody won the tag titles last year, where we kind of got teased a little bit.
Right.
This is what this was. This is Triple H. Some people say recycling storylines, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, it worked. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. These two have a problem. We know we want to get to that match at some point. This is your little taste of what it's going to look like in a few months.
Well, remember, Kyle, their big promo battle happened here in Cleveland back in, last December?
I think when Punk first came back, it was after Survivor Series when he picked
December.
Raw. Yeah, we were both there.
Which was nuts, absolutely nuts. And that, and again, it wasn't for Punk's injury. That was the match we would have got at Mania.
Yep.
So that's going to be, it'll be a challenge, but a fun challenge. Because, and I say a challenge, I think from now to January 6th won't be tough. That will not be hard because of what you just said. Punk and Bronson Reed, you can even have the blow off of that feud, even on that first Raw. You can have the blow off there. The trick is going to be stretching it out just a few extra weeks because WrestleMania is in mid-April as opposed to the beginning of April. So how do they effectively stretch that out? There's a Royal Rumble trip in there. There's a Elimination Chamber trip in there somewhere. Is there another B-side feud that either of these guys are a part of will circle back to those two facing off again, finally, for the first time? And we saw even, Seth Rollins when he came back initially, in the SummerSlam. That's how, he was a special guest referee. It almost felt like that match with Punk and McIntyre won. It almost felt like, in my opinion, too much attention was given to Seth Rollins, but I understood why. I just said, and I hold the same opinion, I thought it took a little bit away from the match quality, but in the overall scheme of storyline, I 100% believed it made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does, and that's what we're going to get. So it's been subtle teasing. Knock on wood, he's remained relatively healthy now after a couple matches, so I'm sure
that's
goal...
That's the W within itself.
The fact
Honestly,
that he was walking, even though he looked like me after I took my steroid from my back, like he managed to walk out on Raw and deliver the promo and have the face-to-face with Seth. So, I mean, we're just happy Punk's healthy and can wrestle, and hopefully it stays that way for the rest of his time, because when you get older, man, the injuries they get harder and harder to recover from, and we're not all John Cena and recover in 3 months. So, I mean, this is
a thing. And again, it goes back to the presentation again, because how many Hell in a Cell matches have we seen? Oh yes, bruise and batter or whatnot. Shane McMahon jumped off the top of a cage and he pops right back up.
They didn't do any of that shit. This was a normal. This is just a beat down Hell in a Cell brawl. That's what it was. There was no.
Dude has pride. He wants to call his wife, but then can't make it up the ramp.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty. This is
The biggest spot was a suplex over a turnbuckle into a table. That was which is still something, but I mean, it meant something. It was
Yeah.
huge in that moment, and that was it. There wasn't, they had a broken table at one point or whatever it was, whether that was planned or not, who knows? But I mean, I thought it was great, and it sets up both guys. Drew, I still think would make a lot of sense to go over to SmackDown. Just get away. Just after a blow off like that, they cannot be on the same show.
no, I agree.
Because they're always going to be at each other.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And
Because even the way CM Punk talked, he's like, I won the match, but for some reason I'm not happy about it.
has Drew McIntyre ever won the U.S. Championship?
Maybe during his first run.
I thought it was the IC title you had.
Maybe.
I mean,
They all
looking
roll
to be a
together.
Grand Slam champ, Drew. I mean, there you go. There's a few with LA Knight waiting for you. There's a couple guys we think that could make a lot of sense for LA Knight. So I mean,
I'm all
There you
in
go.
on your idea with Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown. Like completely.
it's
all
about
in.
time. And then also we said before too, great feat for Cody if they're trying to fill some time between this Rock Roman thing or whoever. I mean, this is if they don't want to pull the trigger on Randy and KO yet. I mean, there's a way where you could get Drew in there and he could be. That's a hell of a
I
filler for
personally
you.
believe that SmackDown needs more firepower. I know we watch SmackDown on delay, because we do football, but watching SmackDown when we do watch on delay, you could clearly tell that they need a little bit more firepower. Even now, I know more is going to happen. More resources will be dedicated to Netflix. But I'm watching even now, like outside of Bloodline. And a few other select superstars that you really like, it doesn't seem like it's a strong show. And I think Drew McIntyre, put Drew McIntyre in a United States Championship feud with LA Knight. And that's no one will root for Drew McIntyre, which is what you want.
Exactly.
Which is what you
to
want.
Keep the heat.
And you need LA, you need to define if you I love that idea. I'm also curious with these two. The reactions, right? The babyface heel reaction, or just the crowd is I have no issues with the crowd. Obviously, they're popping for these guys. I'm very curious to see how Seth Rollins, and you kind of saw a little bit of it on Raw with the Car Wash 2-hour edition. How little tease for later. How Seth Rollins went from, oh no, I'm a little worried. I really don't want to see you out there. Some do, but I'm like, Punk just went through it. How could you take the moment away? Then babyface Seth Rollins is back, promoting the product and whatnot. Bronson Reed, he's the ultimate babyface. And then Jey Uso comes out, which is completely out of left field, in the Car Wash Monday Night Raw. And they have a face-off, which we don't believe is anything, but we are trained as Triple H WWE watchers to assume that everything means something, even if something that's presented means nothing.
I think it's fresh too with Jay and Seth with the bloodline stuff and everything, and now all of a sudden Cody is teaming with Roman and Jay's still a part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his brother that just came back too. So Seth was like, man, what the fuck, bro? Like, you just look at him like, what the fuck you and your family.
And
Just
I
like,
wonder, I'm glad you brought that up. I wonder if Seth will have some kind of row in Jay getting back with his family. Again, I only say this because, again,
I think Jimmy will. They're going to start recruiting him. At some
Jimmy will
point.
have a big part, but I think Seth will have a little bit of a row. They didn't do that face off. In Vince McMahon's WWE, that face off meant nothing. In Triple H's WWE, I have to ask the questions.
I think it's more along the lines of maybe they don't see Seth in a feud for the world title right away either. And I mean, when you have Jay, who's like probably the most over babyface, maybe in the company besides Cody right now,
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to want to put him up against someone challenging. And with Seth and Bronson, we kind of assume that Bronson Reed's eventually going to get groomed to go to the main event and maybe fight Gunther, fight that kind of level person. So what does Seth do in that situation if he's still waiting for Punk? Well, he can go and he can have a feud with Jay.
Good.
I mean, there's so many different avenues you can go down. It's like we're on a side street in west side of Cleveland. I mean, there's so many different places you can take a left or right turn down.
Hey, and at least we're not in Columbus, because then it will only be a one-way street. How Vince McMahon used to book.
One way, brother.
So this is excuse me. This is Bryan Danielson. It's just a slip up.
Almost got you there.
apologize.
Oh, yeah.
He is still the world champion. I know all 300,000 of you watched AEW Dynamite on Tuesday night, Title Tuesday. Why did it start at 9 o'clock?
Was that really the rating? Was it 300,000? I feel like that
324,000.
Are you serious?
Record low.
Well, I
They'll
know
spin it that it wasn't their normal time slot.
and well, they competed with NXT too. It was NXT's first show in the CW.
But my thing, why did it start at 9 o'clock? Because I remember that Title Tuesday, they made a deal because of TBS's baseball, because the Guardians.
Probably why then.
You know, so but they had Big Bang at 8 o'clock and 8:30. I just didn't understand.
They didn't get the carryover from the Big Bang Theory at 9 o'clock.
Not this week.
Wow. So this is the true number then, between 350,000 and 600,000 is the true number of people that watch AEW television, the main show.
I'll pull up the main number real quick. NXT. Okay, here it is from Wrestle Ops. NXT Tuesday night, 874,000 viewers.
Wow, they kept it up.
0.24 in the 18 to 49 demographic.
Which is not bad for WWE programming.
AEW Dynamite Tuesday night, 329,000 viewers. 0.10 in the 18 to 49 demo.
NXT stole a lot of that just because Randy was on the show. I'm not going to...
And again, I'm just saying.
Wrong night,
the first
whatever.
hour Dynamite went head-to-head with... I'm just questioning why they went on, I guess, to avoid NXT, but they still went up against
This
NXT.
is a very good thing that they're not going to have a show on one of the nights of one of the main shows for WWE because they cannot compete. They would get stomped the fuck out, to quote LA Knight. Like, that's...
All right, so what was your question about Danielson in the championship?
Well, not less about the championship, but apparently he's going into a feud with Jon Moxley. This could be possibly his last title defense coming up. I guess it's called Wrestle Dream.
Dream, I think this Sunday.
I'm glad the names get better. Fucking A, dude. Bad Blood. Cool. Wrestle Dream. Sounds like you're dreaming of something, aren't you, Tony? Men rolling in tights, playing with one another. So, yeah. My thing is, are we going to miss Bryan Danielson when he retires? When he's no longer a full-time competitor, when he's away from AEW, from wrestling in general? Are you going to miss Daniel Bryan? I know how religiously you watch AEW.
Very.
Yeah.
I think about every morning.
A little creepy, but okay.
Very creepy, but okay. In a full-time role, probably not. To be perfectly honest, I'm glad he's having his championship run. That I will admit. I'm 100% happy that Bryan Danielson, who probably never wanted to win the world title in the first place, has a world title in AEW, and is doing the best he can with this story. To me, though, I go back to my experience back in April in St. Louis, though. As great as he is, I always wonder if he takes one bad bump. And I get it, this could happen with anybody, but with Danielson, who has an extensive injury history, I do wonder, with as high level as he wants to compete and getting and accomplishing championship matches and 5-star matches, but like legitimate 5-star matches. I know he does not care really about his body, and that's the part that really concerns me. So I do believe, look, I'm very appreciative of Danielson, but as a full-time competitor, I would not mind that it ends. And then even from a storyline standpoint, Kyle, they're blowing through these dream matches. So there's not even really they're not even full stories attached to this. When Ric Flair had his retirement angle with WWE, that lasted for 9 months. And each feud that he had there were bigger and bigger stories, ultimately ending with him and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Here, even you take something between Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. Imagine if they actually explained to the audience Nigel McGuinness's history in professional wrestling. Not just assume that everybody knew that he was the Mr. Ring of Honor guy, that he was the next version of Bryan Danielson, that he was supposed to be the superstar that Danielson turned out to be. I will miss Danielson, Kyle. I will not miss the fact that they're blowing through these stories, which tells me the end is near anyway. So that's my long-winded answer to your question.
I'm happy for his health. I'm happy that he's, I guess, okay right now, all things considered. I know he's got a couple kids. I know that's really important to him, is to be present. And this is, I think his kids are around the same age as my son. So it's that time where you really want to start being around a lot, because they're starting to remember things. And they're really starting to pick up on stuff, and they're doing things. They're going to school. So, I mean, yeah, it's that time. And I know AEW already works a light schedule, but still, it's one of those things where, hey, if I can devote all my time to being here. He's made more than enough money. He's done everything he needs to do as far as that, I'm sure, is concerned. And obviously, Brie is pretty successful too in her own right as a businesswoman and all that. So Nikki's got some other shit going on right now, but
right.
But nevertheless,
Continue.
gotta love a little crazy. But still, it's sad because it feels like, yeah, he's getting his last run as a world champ. He had that run in WWE too when he had the plant-based title and all that stuff and everything. He got one more title run. Sad to see it happen so early, because he's still like, what, 40, 41, 42, barely turned 40. And nowadays that's like a wrestler's prime.
I know.
So it's tough for that. But at the same point, this guy's been wrestling for over 20 years and he's done so much.
And he got a second run.
Because he was gone for a few years. We had to watch him struggle and go through that. And
I'm happy that his last match was not against Kane on a throwaway B-level pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right? So he was able to get a second run. He was able to... And I know Reed criticized AEW a hot ton. But if there's one guy that has credibility, that could obviously, it has thrived in WWE, but also thrive in AEW, is Danielson. So I give him that compared to some of the other guys from WWE who went over to AEW and has done stupid stuff. Edge. At least Danielson worked hard in WWE and then went to AEW and worked even harder in the ring and backstage. That's going to be the part AEW, I think, will miss him more than the fans. Because we've already talked about for a long time that, Cody left, so there's a layer gone. Kenny Omega, I think you and Eli brought that up on the B.A. Sweetie show the other day. Kenny Omega is gone. So more and more, William Regal, they had him in the building for a hot second. He's gone. So you're losing more layers of credible guys backstage who could change the culture of that company. And Tony Khan is losing more filters.
And now he's just drinking coffee grounds.
And not tying his shoes.
Oh, for the love of Christ.
So, from that standpoint, that's where I think he's going to be. And, again, I wish, if they're I hope the reason why they're rushing through a lot of these storylines is simply because his career is probably over on Sunday. But if that's not the case, and it's going to continue on for another 9 months, you can't burn off the... We talk about AEW and
do whatever they want.
They do whatever they want. Okay, coming up next, we got a few concerns here that we're going to talk about on the other side. This brings me back to like mid-2000s WWE or 2010s WWE.
I mean, I'm not mad at
what I'm looking at.
But am I looking at Trish or Natalia?
I'm not mad at what I'm looking at here. But we got some concerns Kyle's going to lay it out for you. State of women's wrestling coming up on the other side. I had to use this picture. I just saw it on
Everyone's
Twitter.
going to bitch about something, man. I swear to God.
Is this worth a complaint or not? The Raw goes down to 2 hours.
God.
And people are like, bring back 3 hours. And I'm saying, do you not work?
Obviously not.
Man, but our fine sponsors. We'll talk about Mike from State Farm momentarily, who was also here in studio. We'll talk about him and his services in just a moment. But first, here again is a word from BA Sweeties. Check out BA Sweeties while you're consuming a 5-hour Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Held at 4 different cities.
I better be able to stop and start that fucking thing.
Man. BA Sweeties, of course, check them out. Of course, I'm already almost done. All right, fine. I'll drink the Trump pop. But the pops are really good. The candy bars are phenomenal. Kyle over at his side.
Just know if you drink, it might change your vote. It just might.
Nah, but
You may decide you want to go for it, which, hey, by all means, cast a ballot.
I will
Just do it in person.
in person, yes. Here on this show, we do not encourage early voting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm kidding. Back to BA Sweeties. Check them out. The employees, they're phenomenal, too. We had our team, Pete and us, Pete and everyone. We were at BA Sweeties, of course, and the employees, we got a chance. We met Ben,
Yeah.
who's one of the managers there. He was great. The employees, the whole team that was there Saturday. Every time we go, the team is phenomenal there at BA Sweeties. And, of course, all headed by Tom. And
Well, he'd probably tell you Michelle helps too a little bit, but still, yeah.
Michelle
Tom,
does a great
yeah,
job.
yeah, but Tom is the guy there, and we appreciate him giving us some of his time on Saturday, as well as letting us set up shop for a few hours, get to meet some customers that came from far and wide to come see BA Sweetie, because it seriously is. It's like a landmark. You have to come. If you're coming to Northeast Ohio, if you're not local, or even if you are, but you haven't been to the Cleveland area, maybe you're out east by Mentor, Ashtabula County, whatever it is. Maybe you're south by Columbus, or you're out west by Toledo, or wherever the bullshit school he went to in Bowling Green. I mean, if you're somewhere around that area, you can always shoot over. It's only a little couple hour, 2-hour drive to come over and see the biggest candy store in North America. It's a weekend destination trip. It's a weekday. I got a day off. Got the kids. I need something to do. Where can I take them? You can go there.
I would trash talk you about BG. I know you went to Toledo, but I still owe them student loans, so that's okay. I'm not in it for the fight.
So do I. My allegiance don't bleed green. They bleed purple.
I will tell you real quick. We took so because we did the show live on Saturday, we put in breaks. We were supposed to take like a 5-minute break. Ended up being like 8 minutes.
Yep.
Because we talked to Tom, and like we talked to a family from Southern Illinois. Who came
It's crazy.
over.
Yeah.
Came over. It was great. Phenomenal. Also, since last week was Sponsor Appreciation Week, Mike from State Farm. He was actually behind the camera on the couches over there. Our new sponsor, Mike from State Farm. He is a professional wrestler in training for Exodus Pro Wrestling here in town.
I'm still chopping on the bit. I'm waiting for that announcement.
Man,
Gotta
you
check
almost got it out of him.
I was close.
You was close.
I had to pull the news director hat off and started asking him some really hard questions. But what an amazing guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is. Yeah.
if you're in the market for insurance of any kind, or even if you just are looking for someone to maybe give you a quote or even possibly kind of tell you, what your options are. I mean, Mike's definitely a guy to reach out to. You see his number right there, too, 216-932-6900. Of course, you can go to that website. You can find him on the social media platforms. Again, there's the website, too. My Favorite Agent. He did that on purpose. It's kind of funny. MyFavoriteAgent.com. You can do a quote online, too. It doesn't matter. That also works. If you're like me and you don't like talking to people over the phone like that, or even possibly trying to set up a meeting, you just want something quick so you can see it. Mm-hmm. He's got the option for you there as well, so you can kind of really figure out what you're looking for, get the prices you want. And obviously, the human element of this, too, is Mike, and he's phenomenal. His team is great.
His team is great.
They're awesome over there. Again, it's a phenomenal group. And if you're looking for someone to really help you through some really important decisions when it comes to your home, your car, your kid's car, talking about, apartment for me, like I had to get, apartment renter's insurance because I'm in this new place now. I mean, Mike's the guy to go to get that all solved out and sorted for you. He definitely knows what he's doing, and he definitely really puts that personal touch on. We talked about it, our first meeting with him. Thought it was going to be a 15, 20-minute thing, just getting to know him a little bit. We were there for an hour and a half. Like, it's one of those things, and it wasn't, we were like, man, we were there for so long. Oh, my God. No, we had a great time.
The time.
We're like, oh, shit, we need to get going because we have stuff to do. But, dude, this was awesome. We appreciate it. I mean, he really does have that kind of personality, and it's always fun to work with somebody and have someone that is in your corner like that.
Yeah, I know. He was busy. He came off of a meeting before coming to our show last week. He is fantastic. And, it's unfortunate, when life gets in the way, it sucks. There's no doubt about it. I was once in a car accident. It sucks. There's nothing good about it. But, man, your life could be a whole lot easier if you have trusted insurance and a trusted agent that could help you through all the little things that you don't even think about until something happens. You want to be insured. You want to be locked in. They're ready. And he'll help you through. Also, the State Farm app. Just look him up, and he's right there. But there's the number you see on the screen: 216-932-6900. Give him a phone call. Get you all set up and ready to go. And you could talk pro wrestling. But you don't even have to be a wrestling fan to work with Mike from State Farm, but you're watching this show, so I'm assuming you're a professional wrestling fan, so you can talk professional wrestling with Mike from State Farm.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds is great. And there he is, also training. He's been training since, he told us, he's been training since May.
Yeah.
He's been involved with Exodus Pro Wrestling since day one.
Yeah.
He is childhood buddies with EC3 that you see there. And we're going to see what happens with Mike from State Farm. If we get an announcement, Usual Suspects, that's their next live event coming up a month from now on November 16th. So we will be there in Cleveland for their next show. We cannot wait right before Thanksgiving. And Mike from State Farm, he was on the first show. We chanted his name. EC3 pulls him aside. Dude, they're chanting your name. Dude, you're over. But what? What do you mean I'm over? Yes, you're over. It's great. Oh, he actually had a funny post yesterday. His office came up on Pokemon Go. Mike from State Farm, again, check him out.
That's how you made it, baby. That's how you know.
One more time. That's the number. His address, Lee Boulevard, Mayfield Road, that corner, same building as Starbucks over in Cleveland Heights. So definitely check him out. All right. Why are people complaining about this 2-hour Raw?
Shut the fuck up. Please. Do not ruin that for those who like nice things. You sorry sons of bitches. Like, just please do not. This is nice. I taped Raw, so I was able to, towards the end, start the recording, and I was able to watch the program, and we said under an hour. After skipping commercials and a few things or whatever
Just
it was.
Short of 50 minutes.
Like the video recap, because I watched the PLE. I don't need to see all that. Like, I mean, this was kind of nice. I can't remember the last time I was done watching on Monday Night Raw, like at 10:30.
And here's
it was great.
Yeah, look, I understand. I understand the concerns. I do get now that it's the Triple H Raw that, the 3 hours, it felt like, in most cases, you don't want to miss something impactful. But at the same time, this is, people beg for 2 hours. And look, at 10 o'clock, it's nice to go to sleep. It is.
Dude,
we're
at
wrestling
this
fans.
point,
I understand. We're wrestling fans, but there's 2 hours of Raw, 2 hours of NXT, 2 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of Dynamite, 2 hours of Collision, 1 hour
is
of
Collision
Rampage.
2 hours?
2 hours.
Fuck, I haven't watched that in forever.
On a Saturday night. And if you're really, really all in on professional wrestling, 2 hours of TNA Impact. I mean, my goodness.
It's only so much you can take.
I mean, we're basketball fans, and you don't have to watch the NBA every night.
I can't tell you the last time I watched a full basketball game. Probably the finals. When LeBron was still in Cleveland and all that stuff was the last time I really watched a full game, bell to bell, buzzer to buzzer, like all the way. It's been a long time. I watch bits and pieces, or I'll watch highlights, or like I tuned in. It's the third quarter, okay, or whatever. But I haven't watched a full. It's tough, and even for wrestling shows, it's tough. That's why they have the quarter-hour rankings, because like you lose people off of just like, hey man, I'm fucking tired. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Like, I mean, it's yeah.
In WWE, they're doing a great job now. They're giving you on the corner of the screen every probably 30 minutes.
What's coming up?
This is what's coming up, or
So
this
you
is
know.
what happened. So they're doing more now for the non-internet fan
Mm-hmm.
than back in the day. Like,
know.
if you would have missed Raw back in the day or
You were
missed
fucked.
parts, you were done. Like, that's sorry. Yeah, John Cena came out earlier. You missed it. Here's Mae Young.
Give birth to a hand.
Oh man, the one thing that will get sacrificed is going to be a little bit of some of those B-level storylines that, quite honestly, used to get skipped over on Hulu. They're going to kind of get skipped over, a little bit here. Get on your way to the card. You got to earn your way. You had concerns with the state of women's wrestling.
There's a lot of people, and there was some reports about the talent that were involved in the tag team match. I think it was a 16 or it was a 8-person or whatever. 10. Fuck. Okay, I skipped it, but because again I was tired. But yeah, I mean it was, and I kind of figured it's a number one contenders thing. I'll watch the tag team match with Bianca and Jade when they have it, but like I wasn't gonna watch 10 people rolling around. Like it was just too much. And again I was tired on Monday. But this has led to a lot of concerns about the booking of this kind of thing, and also now where the women stand, ironically, in a organization that, with this leadership, minus Stephanie McMahon, but like championed the women's revolution, getting women more time on TV, having the first ever all-female WWE PLE event, which I'm still all for. It'd be fun to watch a second Evolution, but I am concerned that besides 2 or 3 women on the roster right now, NXT has done a great job of making me care about the women more than WWE main roster, because it feels like there's like 8 or 9 girls on the NXT roster that could win the championship like tomorrow and are ready for it.
They're all in important storylines.
Stephanie Vecker, I mean, you've got
they're
Julia, Roxanne, Corey, like
They're all in important storylines.
yeah, it all feels like and there's balance because we still have the Trick and Ethan Page thing. You still have Javon Evans had a moment. You obviously still have Tony D'Angelo winning the championship over that beast. Obafemi, that dude's a monster. But I mean, you still feel like you're getting a good balance of everything, and everyone feels like it's working. And NXT is only 2 hours, and there's only one show. So the fact that they're making everyone feel that way on developmental, how can we correlate that to WWE main roster programming and make it like people feel like, okay, we're getting a lot? The rosters are pretty big, and that's where you run into this problem where you have all these people wrestling.
What are these women fighting for?
A tag team championship opportunity. But the thing is, who are the real only tag teams in this group? The only real tag team is, Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
Mm-hmm.
They should be the ones in tag team matches. This was a 10-woman, so it's 5-on-5, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? because
pure collective.
which is only 3 people, so they had 2 more join them,
Too.
which was damage control, right, or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
but this is
we have nothing for you 10 girls tonight, so go out there.
This is what happens when you don't have a mid card championship.
It would solve a lot of problems.
This is what happens because Sonya, to be perfectly honest, would probably be ideal for the mid card championship on Raw at this moment. Somebody who these women can despise, chase, hate. She can carry her, her end of the bargain on the microphone.
I'm partial for Lyra, but that's fine.
No, but she would be somebody who would chase.
Yes.
And imagine her getting a big win at this stage, in the main event of Raw or something like that.
Yeah.
But she has nothing to chase.
If they were willing to go the way they did with creating the WWE and World Championship for the women in mirror image of the men's titles, kind of making them almost kind of like, hey, same title. Why is there not a women's Intercontinental Champion and a women's U.S. champ?
It needs to be.
It's written right fucking there.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. You can have a tournament where you get all these girls something to do for a little bit, and then afterwards, like Double I mentioned, you can have the chase.
That was the last time they were really over, was that Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah.
Think
about like someone like Chelsea Green on SmackDown.
Yeah.
The work she's been putting in, like, again, is she viable right now as the women's champion on SmackDown? No, because we know Tiffany's there, Nia's there, Bailey's there, Bianca, whoever. But as a secondary champion, as the mid-card title holder, that makes some sense.
And again, I would be completely. They're not going to do this. I wouldn't mind if they dropped the tag team championships in place of these mid-card titles. I know they're not going to do that. It'll just be, whatever.
There's no emphasis on tag team wrestling in the women's division. And on the main roster, we're starting to see a bit of a curve more back into caring a little more about tag teams, which there's a spoiler for Raw this coming week with a tag team returning to what they used to be.
Well, they only care, the women's side, they only care, they care about Bianca and Jay Carter.
It's ulterior motives because they're both really big individual stars.
They care about the individual stars.
They don't care about the teams.
They don't care about the fact that they're champions.
No,
honestly, for them, it's just a prop.
Well, them, it's more fuel to the fire to have a huge feud later, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, and eventually they'll curtail off and they'll have a WrestleMania match or whatever it is, and that'll be a huge thing. But I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of emphasis. If you're not going to put the time and effort into it and really emphasize it and have it mean something, this is one of the times where Triple H has dropped the ball, and I'm not afraid to criticize WWE. I mean,
and that's why where I did see the criticism. Oh, you might want to let that coach know. You're gonna be a little late. Where you do see
you can call it.
Where you do see the criticism of the shorter Raw, there are flashbacks to, oh no, we don't want to go back to the 10 women meaningless tag team matches again.
If we see someone walk out in bra and panties, you know it's for real.
Oh
so.
Yeah, it's done.
Pete's like, what?
Pete's like, I'm back.
Can you stop being a dude in your 60s?
He's like, dude, I'm back. Okay.
I'm not even 50.
Let me know when you want to throw something at him, Pete. It's okay. All right.
The Trump bottle's still full.
This
is for America. Douche.
All right. I updated this.
You did.
I did, but the bottom row will be updated shortly.
You gotta send me this.
We're gonna find a way to kind of clean this up a little bit. But the names you see is the names you see. So, this is Mount Roman. This is the new segment from the AA box office tiers. Again, completely ripped off from First Things First, where Patrick Mahomes is always the best quarterback in football. Now, the rule is, where's The Rock? That's the first question. Where's The Rock? Well, let me just say this. The Rock is in his own island.
The Rock's in a different mountain range.
He's in a different whatever. It's like Tom Brady. If Tom Brady ever came back to football, Tom Brady's over there, right? Patrick Mahomes is at the top of today's. Boom, right there. He's at the top. I can't disrespect the legends.
Would you say that The Rock is on his own island of relevancy? And that will be the most viewed clip this week.
Number 1, presented by Opus. So I have 6 tiers. We was wondering who was going to actually make the mountain. But
Yeah.
here's the tiers we have. Roman's at the top. Cody and Jey Uso is tier 2.
Yeah.
I did update some names. I moved up range. I listened to the feedback. I listened to the comments that we got on social media, personal friends too. It's like, why do you have Randy Orton so low? You're right. I moved Randy Orton up. Tier 3. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He's earned it. He's up there with CM Punk. Oh, and where was Seth Rollins? When we did this the first go-around, Seth Rollins wasn't on television.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not include Seth Rollins because you can't pay to see somebody who's hurt. He's back. Seth Rollins is tier 3. Because of that, Jacob Fatu is still tier 4. He's just moved down to tier 4, but he's still box office. He's still, you can lift him up at some point. Diamond Liv, Rhea Ripley, Drew McIntyre. Bronson Reed, only because he's a heel, I moved him down to tier 5, but he's still an attraction. Gunther, Bayley, Braun Breaker, and behind me, Sami Zayn. Okay? And then tier 6, we'll post the full version.
Yeah, send me that so I can, yeah.
Tiffany Stratton, Kevin Owens, Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, and the Wyatt 6. So those are the tiers. Any thoughts so far?
It would be tough.
And I have the full version on my computer in case you miss any names.
Yeah, no, I think this is not bad at all. I would probably switch LA Knight and Bayley. Just because Bayley's in this weird phase now where it's like she's not hitting with the crowd.
It's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing, right?
Because I don't know what she's doing. When she was a heel, you knew she's like, hey, fuck you guys. When she was Hugger Bayley, it was like, I love you so much. Now it's kind of like, I mean, you're wearing very attractive clothing, but what do you...
Her stories ever since the Damage Control breakup has just not been hit.
Even at the end of Damage Control, like we liked the direction it was going, but we don't know what
they
this is.
They were barely involved in the build-up to Mania.
I know. They had a good stretch and then they stopped.
Mm-hmm. But you would move LA Knight up.
I would, yeah, because people still lose their fucking mind over LA Knight. And honestly, normally I'd say you need to move Rhea up, but recently people have went down a little bit on Rhea. They've cooled off a little bit on her. So I'm actually okay with that. So the only thing I'd really think you maybe would have to change is just moving LA Knight up 1. And honestly, at this point, the Wyatt 6, I don't know if they're on there. They're not on TV. They blipped on for the Miz and Karrion Kross's segment on Raw. They had the little. I didn't know if there was a QR code or not.
I didn't see one.
I didn't search. I just saw the graphic,
Yeah.
which we don't know who they are, so I imagine you don't really need a QR code for that. But nevertheless, they're losing momentum.
Well, the Wyatt 6 is tough for me because do I put them on there when they're back on television and I take them off right after on television? Because I guess my standard...
They need to be on television, period.
I know.
Which now it's going to be harder. You talk about going to a lower show or not as long of a show. I mean, this is where obviously it becomes a pain in the ass because you have all this talent.
Yeah.
And I want to say a good chunk of these guys, besides a few of the top ones, are on Raw. So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And we talked about it before.
There's not a lot of space.
Drew McIntyre goes to SmackDown. Again, I honestly think that top 5
it'd be hard to get one of those.
It's hard
off.
to crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with Punk not being on TV now, possibly for the foreseeable future, maybe he comes off it for a little bit. But it's your Mount Roman.
No,
so.
You're right. CM Punk, if he's absent from television until January,
Spot's opening up.
That spot's open. Who's
it gonna be?
Who could take it?
If it's some.
Again, Rock, in my eye, Rock is not eligible for this.
The final boss sees your Mount Roman, and you know what he says? Fuck your Mount Roman, all right?
Here is
guy in the back, security. Yeah, you like the Rock. Yeah, you like the Rock. Fuck your Mount Roman. Final boss.
All right, we're gonna do a complete re-edit of this, but tier 7, I'll read the names.
Oh, you filled them in.
I did.
Yeah.
The Miz.
Yeah.
Nia Jax.
Interesting.
Carmelo Hayes.
He needs to get over more.
Andrade.
El Idolo.
Solo.
Acknowledge me.
Naomi.
I don't feel the glow anymore. I'm sorry.
R-Truth.
What?
That's Stone Cold, who's also not eligible for this list.
R-Truth is about to get belly whopped by the Miz here. It's gonna be...
So, my thoughts here: when you get to tier 7, there are some names that are not equal to others on tier 7, but you have to fill spots. For example, Solo obviously just main evented this past pay-per-view. So Solo is not the same caliber of... Naomi's not the same caliber of superstar as Solo. But this is about box office tiers. When you talk to your friends about attending a WWE show, who do you pay to see? I have yet to hear from anyone who has said, I am paying money to watch Solo wrestle. Your thoughts on what you have seen here on tier number 7?
I almost want you to go through the entire WWE roster and then put down the others, like in a scrolling thing. Like those who didn't make the cut.
Pete's over there like,
They're
he finally just learned how to do lower thirds and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're on the grassy knoll underneath, Sloppy. They're like down here.
We'll have a ticker. Did not make the list. Will be a ticker.
Oh my God. Yeah,
We
that's
just stumbled onto a great idea.
I'm really curious, to see the entire roster of people that aren't on this list. But
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who did not make this list.
I mean, they have a big roster.
I know. Of the main roster, right?
Yeah, we're not doing NXT.
We're just doing. That's the other thing. We're just doing main roster. Like if we incorporated NXT, Trick Williams would be like tier 5 or tier 6, maybe tier 5 or tier 6.
Still super over.
Still super over. Still
Like,
way
he
over.
He can go to the main roster now, and people know his song. They'll all chant.
I could make a case that Trick Williams would be a tier 4 or tier 5.
He's a tier Booker T 2.0.
Yes, he is.
That's wild. It's honestly, he's like legit turning into Booker T. I can't believe it.
Man.
If he has a king gimmick, I'm over it.
Your thoughts on what you see from tier 7? Again, Miz, Nia Jax, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Solo, Naomi, R-Truth.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. Obviously, there'll be some names when they come back from injury too, like Charlotte and stuff like that. That will, whether you like her or not. I mean, she gets people's attention, so she'll be around. Becky, obviously, again, not on the list. She's not currently with the company. I don't buy that, but I mean, she's just taking time off. I mean, yeah, I'm not too mad. Like I said, I have to see the full roster and who you left off to really be able to.
The only names I can think off the top of my head is Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. There's a reason why we've delayed the Let's Fix Austin Theory for like 3 months now.
Yeah, when we started football season, this got a little more rough. And didn't really think that through. Especially this Friday when we're in Ashtabula. It's going to be kind of rough to drive all the way back. And yeah, you know what? I'll show up at the studio at 8:39 in the morning to... Yeah,
I'm not even looking at Pete. I'm sure he's shaking his head. No. Hell no. Is he doing that?
He's got to stop having fucking car issues. And then
man. What's going on, man? What's going on?
I've heard the expression, everything you touch turns to gold, but I never thought I'd see the pure epitome of opposite right in front of me.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, Pete, when he walks up to his car, sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. I don't... We hit a lot today.
We did.
We even did some, sports talk.
We did, real...
Thank you for letting me live out my fantasy and having a ability to talk sports for 5 minutes.
Man.
Yeah.
Now
I'm going to send that tape to 92.3.
Wink, wink. Actually, I had to get that approved by Pete. I'm like, hey, can we talk? Give me 3 minutes. Now, how much time do we take? 20?
Yeah. Half the fucking show.
We'll do rapid fire.
Another time.
There was something I teased. I forgot.
No, I think that was it.
Oh, real quick. What do you think? Real quick. So what's next with Cody and Kevin Owens?
Oh.
So for one, I'm not upset that they're holding off Randy Orton. I'm not upset.
But are they though?
But are they? Was that just here's the other thing. Cody is not going to face KO at Crown Jewel.
He's facing Gunther.
Yeah. There's got to be some kind of
Or. No. Hear me out. So, what happens if Cody doesn't make it to the match at Crown Jewel? What happens if
Gunther
he's
just gets the Crown Jewel?
No.
Oh.
No, what happens if Cody can't make it? Well, you need another champion to fill in, right?
You do?
What about the People's Champion? Just saying. They want these to feel special. It's going to be a year-long thing. Who better to be the first ever champion of champions than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
As long as it's not Shane McMahon, I'm open to all ideas.
Best wrestler in the world. Go work for AEW.
Speaking of Jake, I got beef with Jake when he's free because he tried to. I always told him, I'm like, I like Shane McMahon. Personally, I like Shane McMahon the person. And on the McMahon documentary, he went through a lot of. You can tell he went through a lot of stuff.
The entire family did.
Yeah, the entire family. Shane McMahon, the wrestler, I think is very, very, very overrated.
Well, he's got the 5 moves of doom, and then he just jumps off the high shit. So I mean, that's
makes all the other wrestler like. You can't go out there wrestle in a sports jersey for, once every 3 years, jump off the top of a cage, not break a sweat, and then go backstage and expect the main roster to be cool with that. No.
Well, to be fair, he did get pretty sweaty the last few times.
He got very sweaty.
Especially when he tore those hamstrings.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg actually saved him. Snoop Dogg actually turned in a great match. Oh, I did not send you I meant to send this to you, but we ran out of time. And look up, Dave Meltzer was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast, and he explained why Japanese wrestling have better finishes and stuff than WWE. There's his reaction. We'll talk about that next week.
No, we won't. We literally won't. I won't be here.
Gonna be Sweeties. Check them out. Interstate 480, Ridge Road exit. Make a left on Brick Park Road. It'll be right there. And don't forget, this is the last weekend for the putt-putt.
That's true.
And it's the weather will be ideal. So get your round of putt-putt. I love Tom's answer, by the way. You asked him a great question. He's like, well, if the weather's nice, why don't you just extend it another week? You remember what he told you?
Yeah. It costs a lot of money to do that. Shut the fuck up, Kyle. No, but it's a hard
upkeep.
Yeah, it's a hard date, October 13th, this coming Sunday. So make sure you guys take advantage of it. It's one of the best putt-putt courses in Northeast Ohio. So
it is.
Yeah, there's a reason why the guy who has the largest candy store in North America called that the crown jewel of his entire facility.
And I said that about the putt-putt before we got the sponsorship.
You did.
I'm like,
oh, it's still, you see pictures on social media all the time. People are there, they're playing, they're having fun. Whether you're, again, with your kids or you're taking a date there, maybe your 30th wedding anniversary, before you go out to dinner, you want something to do, go play putt-putt, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. The occasion can be fulfilled with the putt-putt in your hands.
Putt-putt, by the way, is a very underrated dating opportunity. Very underrated.
It's where I took my my wife on our first date.
Now, where you could also take your wife to is to Mike from State Farm. Boy, that was an...
Insure this bitch. No.
It's the number 216.
Listen, I know your insurance, but can you assure me that she's not going to go fucking crazy? Like, dude, you can tell it's getting late. We haven't done a late show in a while.
Man, this is the point of the show where we show the executive producer, Peter Tulloch, at the bottom of the screen.
I wish one day you just do the next slide, and it's just a big thing with his name. And Peter Tulloch. Bonus points if you throw his middle name in there. Extra bonus points if you give him his social.
Man, extra bonus when half his name is off the screen.
Yeah, right.
It's a big text.
P.
Hold up. He'll be the rolling ticker with all the wrestlers that didn't make my Mount Rushmore. Mount Roman.
But it'll be in all caps, so don't worry. We'll be able to read it. Don't you worry.
All right, you guys enjoy your weekend. Our weekend will be busy. We'll be in Ashtabula County all weekend, but we'll see you next week. Same place, same time, same channel or audio channel, wherever you hear us or see us. Definitely check us out. So
I'm gonna go watch Weshel Dream. Ooh.
could be Daniel Bryan's last match.
Bye, little Sebastian.
You're not interested in Jon Moxley taking over AEW?
No.
It's not on his own. It's his own operation.
It was me, Austin. I can't wait for that moment. Vince comes out in AEW. I bought the company. Fuck.
Hold up.
Tony's like, nee.
Vince McMahon comes out. He's like, come on out, you. Ooh. You hear that from here? Cut us off. We're done. Unplug us. We're done.